Test. Welcome, welcome. All right, I'm trying to figure out how I can get some music in the background of this. Some background music. How's it going? Is this music too loud or is it not? Please let me know. I could figure out how to turn it down. It does sound like it could possibly be sort of loud. Hmm. Or I could turn up my microphone. All right. Let me know, is this music way too loud if you guys are listening in? I can start whatever I'm working on, my stuff. All right. My my microphone's all the way up. All right, then I will start. Everything's looking good. Let me know if there's anything wrong. They haven't done a live stream yet on this YouTube channel, so I won't get offended at all. Doesn't matter. Oh, there's ads. What's, oh boy, something's, I don't even know. Okay, I think we're just gonna do no music. I think that'll be easier. All right. All right, yeah, then I'm just gonna do no music for now. Maybe future live streams. This will be a live stream just to figure most of the stuff out. I won't get too much stuff done this live stream, but we'll just figure some stuff out for the future live streams. I just solder up a few connections. I'll explain what I'm doing in a second. Let me just get the live chat up here just in case anyone asks any questions. I can help out with that. Let me figure this out. I'm not too good at this. All right, we're there. All right. Yeah, so we're gonna do no music probably. Oh, Suki, what are you doing? So you want to say hi to the live stream? Look up, look up, look up. All right, you gotta get out. Come on, there you go. Go upstairs. All right, Suki just had a little appearance. She wanted to check out what I was doing. All right, so what I'm doing is that for SN3 or SN4 actually, I'm gonna measure the pressure. So here's the pressure transducer. This is Arduino I use for my load cell, which is currently connected to it, which I'm going to disconnect in a second. So I added yesterday, I coded and calibrated this pressure transducer. Right now, you can see that it's just pinned in with those pins. I'm actually going to solder it now. But yeah, here's what I use to calibrate it. It's kind of a pain because there's absolute and then there's um, it's a pain. Absolute and then gauge pressure. I need to add the atmospheric pressure or not. But we're there. We calibrated it correctly. So this part now the pressure transducer isn't on this right now. This pressure transducer is screwed into this fitting. The data gets to the Arduino by plugging in to the pressure transducer. So right now, my goal is to figure out a way where I can have this go out to the launch mount. I'm not 100% sure. I actually have not even thought about it yet. Why not? I was thinking about problem solving on the live stream to figure out what I should do. I'm not sure if I want to have like a lead cable like this, what I did for my little OLED screen I had on the test stand the last few tests, or if I should wire it out. I got to use whatever I have here. We're not gonna wire everything, so this might not be perfectly great. Um, it hurts seeing this. Yeah, I know it's not great, but it was just for the testing to make sure it worked. Now we're gonna make it look fancy like the load cell. It doesn't look too nice. So if anything looks not the greatest here, I'm using what I got because I have a strict deadline. I'm going to Texas, Boca Chica, to see a SpaceX launch soon. So once I get back from that, I gotta test SM4. SM4's parts, I'm gonna order them soon, but we're gonna work on electronics now. Might not be the best, but it will work. I'll assure you it will work, hopefully. But um, pretty much, yeah. So I'm not sure Like I said, I haven't even thought about this yet. I haven't put any thought into this. I just wanted to start the live stream. Maybe I can get some help from the smart viewers. Um, so yeah, I made this little extension cord for my OLED screen. I was thinking something like that because this cord, the load cell cord is fine. The load cell cord is very long, so I don't got to worry about this. But this pressure transducer is pretty short. Um, yeah, solid. A solid cord would be nice, but unfortunately, I don't have that right now. So we're gonna need to. I got some speaker wire, but I'm not 100% sure if I want to use that. Um, that's what I use for my detonation system, my launch system. But yeah, I have no solid core wire. It's only three, the data, then the ground, and the 5 volt. So I was thinking about just making one of my own cords. It's probably not the greatest, but maybe just do that for now, and we can upgrade in the future because I can order some stuff off of Amazon. But I want to get this done so I can move on. So I got a bunch for SN4. There's a lot of new things. I do have these XT60 connections. They're quite, they're pretty, they're pretty beefy connectors. I don't know if I really want to use these. Pretty beefy, but I do have these. I don't even know what are these called. These are like balance leads for lipo batteries if you fly drones, FPV. I use this is what I use. This is definitely not the correct approach, but it worked great. I had the male end to connect into that. This was my makeshift extension cord that I made. I might do something like that, but the OLED had 4 wires and the pressure transducer only has 3. And I don't think I only have 6 prong. I do have some small ones right here. Just some small stuff like this. Do you have any thoughts? Let me know. Um, this is like, yeah, because I'm using 22 gauge wire right now. These are not 22, these are smaller. Which probably work fine, but okay. Well, let's get this load cell off of it because it's all my screwdriver got quite a bit of stuff around here. Where is my screwdriver? Okay, this is not good. How am I losing everything? Doesn't look good. Does anyone see my screwdriver? Somewhere around here. I gotta take off these leads for the load cell just so I can get it out of the way. Take away any clutter. That isn't gonna, we don't need the load cell for any of this soldering. Where? This is crazy. Let's get this there. We got solder, load cell. We got the old load cell that broke for from SN3's last test, which is sad. So we need to get another one. This one's more beefy though. This is actually a wrong one. I ordered a 100 kilogram off of Amazon and a 50 kilogram came, but I ordered another 100 kilogram. I'm just using this one for testing purposes until the other one comes. Um, this I don't know. Oh, here it is. It's under a thing. So we're gonna take off the load cell leads so it doesn't get in the way. There we go. And now get a piece of paper. Just write down. Green. Now the green. I'm using the analog 0, and 5 volt in the ground. Just so what I use because I also do have the load cell hooked up to this. So gonna hopefully not bend any pins. That's always tough getting that off. I did bend a pin, but we can bend it back. There's so many pins to lead in that sometimes they get bent a little bit, but they can bend back. If they snap, then that's bad. You gotta. So yeah, here's my Arduino. This is the SD card shield that I have on, which has all the wiring for the load cell under it. So, oh, use the wire from the bad load cell. Yeah, that's a good idea. Do I wanna ruin it right now? So with this old load cell, I could possibly use it because the only thing, so pretty much got bent. So the when you turn it on, it says it's at 100 pounds, but when it's not, I could always recalibrate it, but they're like 25 bucks. So that's actually it's a good idea. I'm gonna cut off this wire for this load cell. This gives me a good amount of distance. The pressure transducer is 5 volts. That's what it said on the Amazon. I will cut this. This is kind of sad, but we'll cut it. If I ever need it, I can always attach another cord on to it. I'm not doing anything that's irreversible. So that's a plus. Yeah, the thing is my ohm meter broke. I do need to get another one. The lead on the one came off and let me see if I still have it. It bent and then it broke off. The connection in it broke. But I assume the wire's still fine. There's nothing. If it isn't, I guess we're gonna need to do something else. But I gotta make sure what I'm doing is on the camera. Because forgive me if you don't see something because I'm trying to do it in front of my eyes instead of the camera eyes. So do I get some scissors down here? We do. I do want to make a connector for this because I don't want to have this long wire coming out of my Arduino, just like the load cell where I'm able to connect it and unconnect it, so I'm able to move it around. Yeah, I might need banana those banana plugs. Because right now it might not work, but I think this wire should be good. Got it all stripped off. Sorry, I don't know if I'm not showing you guys. This has 4 wires. The pressure transducer only has 3, but that's fine. That's okay. You cut this over the trash so it doesn't get everywhere. All right. Boom. One side nicely stripped. Got all the shielding out of there. The other side. Almost there. Boom. Get all this out of the way. Let me go cut this over the trash again so I don't make a mess everywhere with all these small pieces of metal that can get stuck into your fingers. And I've had that happen before and it hurts. Okay. All right. We got two nice stripped ends. Let me grab this. Two nice stripped ends. Now, I do want to do something similar to the load cell where I have these little screw joints, whatever the technical term is. Um, you know the technical term for these, Rush, you probably do now. These little clamp down connectors. I want to use those because I could just solder this cord straight onto the load cell, but then when I'm trying to work with the load cell, then I got this huge cord that's all connected. So I do like to have a way just to disconnect everything from the load cell or from the Arduino. So when I'm programming it, I don't got to have all this clutter all around it. Um, so braided to the shield. Okay, I will make sure to do that. Hang on. Okay. Um, Now, question is, where are those little? I don't even know. Okay. I have a bunch of these clamps. See, yeah, that's what I was thinking to add one more, but we might need to move around the load cell clamps a little bit because let me see if I can get let me just, my camera set up right now. I'm trying to see if I can. You can see, okay, let me move it up a little bit. So we don't have too much real estate here. I could move this load cell one over a few pins so then I can fit this one in. Of course, this doesn't need to be perfect. This is just quick. We're gonna just get this done. We got to test. I can always come back and make it nice when I have time. But we might need to move over this load cell one a few pins so then I can fit this one in because right now I don't see too many available spots I have. So we possibly might need to do that. Let me disconnect. Oh boy, what just happened? Okay. I don't know what just happened there. But we could. It wouldn't be too hard. Here's all the soldering connections I have under here. Is it not focused? Is this better? Is it better if I use the far away camera and go closer? Yeah. So I could move those two leads over a little bit, which then everything will be squished, but I think it looks good. I think it'll be fine. It won't, might not look the greatest, but that's not always what you're trying to achieve. Yeah, so this LED will has enough room. I could always remove that LED. I don't even know. I just have that LED where it turns on once the data is actually logging into the SD card, but I'll keep it there. So yeah, if I move that over to, trying to make sure I'll 100% have room until I start disconnecting these wires and I don't have room and then I gotta just put it back. That's not always the most fun thing. Yeah. It's gonna be tough getting this clamp off because I have some solder wick, but I don't have the necessary tools at my disposal, I don't think, to get that perfectly off. It's always a pain to get multiple pins off at the same time as you got to heat them all at the same time and then pull at the same time. It's quite a challenge. I had solder wick somewhere because I'm definitely going to need that to probably get some of that off. But yeah, I'll start off with that. If that doesn't go according to plan, we can always improvise. I was thinking possibly if I don't do that, I think I actually have it on my other Arduino. This one was for the LED screen. This is what I did. This is what I was thinking. If that doesn't work, I can do something like this. It doesn't look as nice, but this piece was actually the part that connected to the the OLED screen. So I could always go like this. This Arduino this is the dual or so. Yeah, this is the dual. This one just fried. I don't know. It's not working too much. I think it's a code issue, but I will get back to that. Actually, the OLED screen did not help me as much as I thought it would. But yeah, pretty much if we can't fit this little clamp, I do like this clamping mechanism way better than this clip. This is like a clip I was saying for a 6S battery for LiPo for drones. I mean, it works. It's definitely not the greatest, but it is what I have, and we're gonna build this with what I have. I don't feel like buying more stuff for this little for this. If it works, it works. So yeah, just thinking about it for a second. Move that over. I'm just trying to make sure with how these pins are orientated. If I move this over 2 pins, if this will still fit. So these are a little blocky. They don't just take up 2 pins. They take up a few pins. They're a blocky type of piece. Give me your thoughts in the comments in the live chat. If you think this is a stupid idea, let me know. I won't be offended. Doesn't matter. But if you have a better idea, let me know. I'm open to any ideas that you give me. I'm just trying to find my solder wick. Not too organized. Whenever it's in between tests for new motors, I have so much stuff out that I'm trying to work with. So trying to do this pressure transducer and all the electronics for the data. I'm working on the final designs for the bulkhead and nozzle. And then I'm also working on the whole test stand. The test stand's gonna get some test stand's gonna have some upgrades for the next test. Oh, solder wick's right here. It was right there. Um, so there's a bunch of things out. It's not clean down here, but all right. Yeah, so I think we're gonna go back. Yeah, yeah. The one clamp. Oh, I didn't even think about this. There's three. It's not two. I could jump off of. I could possibly tell me if this would work. If anyone knows in the comments, because I'm not 100% sure if this will work. There is so for the. Don't mind my silly connections that I do for to pin them in the Arduino for testing. So there's the data 5 volt, and then the ground. When we have this, we only have two possible available clamp. We can clamp in two cords to this. Could I clamp in the 5 volt to the same 5 volt that the load cell runs on? I think because when I have it pinned out, this this type of pin, they're both pinned into the same 5 volt. So I'm thinking that would work. So I just put so for the 5 volt connection, I just put the 5 volt for the load cell in, and I also put the 5 volt for the pressure transducer in. I think that would work. I'm pretty sure because when I was testing it for the purposes where I had the pins on the outside, I had the 5 volt connected onto the same 5 volt that's with the load cell because the Arduino Uno only has one 5 volt. Yeah. So I mean, it worked fine. It worked fine when I was testing it. Nothing worked. I tested both load cell and pressure transducer at the same time. So it wasn't like I was just testing the pressure transducer and maybe the load cell wasn't working. I didn't know. I tested them both at the same time and both of them worked. I think it's worth a shot. If it doesn't work, then I don't know. Yeah, it should. Okay. All right. maybe we, and let me know if the view isn't great or if anything's bad. If you like this view with the board, I don't have I probably did have one, honestly, but I probably don't anymore. But I can check up Arduino Uno schematic. Come on, the PDF. Um, let's see. Cookie consent. I'm looking on online right now. Arduino Uno schematic. Arduino Uno R3. This is the R3, right? Yeah, this is a schematic. I can personally. I don't know how to. Oh, okay, that's great. Give me 1 second. Let me get this on the OBS screen. Here's a schematic. I don't know. Let me know if you can see it or if you can't, how it's looking. This is the Arduino. It says schematic. Oh, no, this is not. I don't think this is. Yeah. It's probably somewhere. But I mean, it worked fine with testing. So also let me know what view you prefer. You can say far is, just let me know. This is far. This is almost the whole table. My whole, um, I have the close and the close. This is actually what they're called in my OBS software because I gotta remember which one's which. So I know the close isn't the greatest quality because I have the camera's all the way up here. It's probably, I don't know, 4 feet away. This is the full one. Um, Now I'm thinking it's maybe because my pressure transducer at the low pressures, it was not too accurate. And was that because the transducer was $15, or is that because I was both into the same lead, the same 5 volt pad? Um, that brings up questions now. I mean, I don't think so. This thing was only 15 bucks, so it's not that accurate at low pressures, but when we're gonna test this SN4, most of it's not gonna be it. How blurry is you look on, let me pull up the stream. Make sure you're running 7. Yeah, so I'm streaming out at 720. Not sure. So it will be a little blurry. Let me see if I could no. Yeah, I'm not able to change the resolution while in streaming. If it's not terrible, let me know if it's not terrible. If you can see. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, so if it's not too blurry, let me know if it's too blurry. I can always stop the stream, change it to 1080, restart it. But on my end, it's not looking terrible. I'm running yeah, it is a little blurry. Yeah. I could always, this view will be less blurry, but it will be less zoomed in. This view is probably not blurry at all, but you can't really see the, can I refocus? Let me see. Now, the reason, no, now the tripod's moving a little bit. The reason it's not focus is because I'm digitally zooming in. I'm not when I change to these views, I'm not actually zooming the camera, it's digitally zooming it, so it won't yield the greatest result compared to if I actually zoom in the camera. Right now I'm just using my phone on a tripod that's hanging from the ceiling. I need to get like an Elgato or whatever those are called to be able to stream from a camera onto OBS. Now my tripod's moving. That's not great. Um, my view's a little shaky. Um, hmm. All right, let's stop this. Come on, I gotta go over here to. So right now my tripod's hanging from the ceiling. I don't have a great. I'm actually working on a nice mount to be able to mount my camera's overhead mounting. Um, Let me just do a little bit of research just to make sure what I'm doing is okay so I don't do it all. I gotta redo it. Wouldn't be the end of the world, but I'd rather not need to. Yeah, and it could induce some noise interference, which that noise interference brings me back to the pressure transducer. When I had the pressure transducer at ambient pressure, um, I'm I'm measuring for absolute pressure, so it should be at zero, and it would stick at zero, but then it would hop up to like 14 psi, just some random numbers, which that could have possibly been interference because I was hooked into the same 5-volt pad as the load cell when it was running. Um, it's probably not the greatest idea. Yeah, it's probably. I agree. It's probably not the sensor. The sensor's probably it's probably fine. It was only 15 bucks, but it got good reviews on Amazon. So yeah, I genuinely think I probably shouldn't put them both the same 5-volt. And yeah, that noise is I just read a quick article that actually makes me think about it. There's not another 5-volt onto the on this I only got a 3-volt. Hmm. What could I do? Anyone have I'm not great with electronics. I'm good with all the other stuff. Electronics is definitely the most my struggle. Um yeah, because I do have this Arduino Dual or whatever it's called. This would work fine. This would work perfect actually. This is probably what I should be using, but I wanted to just get this done real quick because I have so much other stuff to work on. Which I was like, well, let's just get this pressure transducer done. I did overall. I will end up switching to the Arduino Dual, but yeah, that noise makes me want to rethink it. It's actually yeah. So I don't know how, if you guys got any ideas, how would I be able to get another 5 volt pad or get a 5 foot output on this that only has one 5 volt pad? I could, I really don't want to switch to the dual. I'd rather just stay on the Uno and just get this done real quick. It's really, oh, wait. Actually, I think there might, hmm, yeah, there is only one 5 volt. That's not great because then I think that means I might need to switch to the dual, which I don't really want to. What do you guys think? I could, um, yeah, there's only one. His dual has like three or something. One, I think the dual only actually has two as well because I got the one hooked up to the VCC on the SD card adapter, and there's another one down here. Yeah, I don't. This is the Arduino Uno R3. You need If you need anything else, let me know. But this is I have a SKU number if you need that. Um, but let me know. I can. Hmm. What an exciting stream for the 6 people. Thanks for being here though. But probably 8 people actually. 8 or 6. 8 or 6. My OBS says 6, but okay. YouTube says 8. So okay, all right. Um, yeah, because I mean I could end up just putting them both to the 5 volt, but that could be what's inducing the interference into the pressure sensor, which I would like to mitigate that if it's possible, just to get more accurate data. Um, Definitely a idea. I'll go out of here. I gotta get back to my stream so I can see the chat on my other tab. Okay. That shouldn't matter. Okay. I was just reading I was just looking at this one article and it said, I'll show you what it said, um, about using multiple devices on the same 5 volt pad. It says, where is it? Says noise interference. Both the load cell amplifier and the pressure transducer are sensitive devices. Sharing a power line could introduce electrical noise, degrading their performance and accuracy. I'm not 100% sure if that is the case, but and I'd hate for this thing to die out on the test stand. Um, that would be terrible. I do not know the current draw on the pressure sensor. Um, I do not know that. If that's a thing, I can look on the spec sheet. I can look at that. I think my new load cell should be here anytime. Should be getting delivered anytime. Um, Pressure transducer, working power 5 volt DC, voltage signal output 0.5 volts to 4.5 volts. Um, so- hmm. I could run some more tests before I solder up anything for sure, but so what I understand is where's that cord that I had? The shielding is this little piece of wire that comes on it, that little metal piece. I don't, the pressure transducer does not. It only has a ground 5 volt and the data output. Um, that could be the pot. Yeah, that could be the issue. That's a great possibility. Hmm. Probably under the heat shrink. How far back? I don't. Um, I don't think it has a shield. This pressure transducer because looking in the wire, there's only these 3 wires that come out, and then there's just. Um, I don't see any. I could strip it a little lower to check, but no. Let me. All right, then let me just take off these test apparatuses off of it, so I can strip it a little bit more. I'll strip it down a little bit to see if it's under there. I don't have a razor, but the second best thing I have is an X-Acto. So, um, okay, here's strip back a little bit. Yeah, this is close already. There's nothing in there. Is it supposed to? Is it? Yeah, I feel like it's supposed to have one. Can't get my fingers in here. Yeah. 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 Hmm. Yeah, I don't see a shield in here. Here it is all the way stripped back. That's weird then. It's not in there. Um, Probably should have a shield in it. That. Hmm. Yeah, I looked on the reviews. Everyone else said it was very accurate. I don't know what pressures they were running it at. Um, hmm. I mean, at the end of the day, there might be a little bit of interference, but overall, the tests that I've done on it so far last night, everything checked out to be good for a test. Um, it wasn't too accurate under low pressures, but I'm pretty sure that's just because of how cheap. And I read the article that showed that at, the extreme pressures and at each extremes, the data isn't perfectly accurate. But that's why I got the 500 psi pressure transducer because off the simulations that I ran, the pressure inside the rocket should be around 200 to 300 psi. That's what the simulation says, and then we're gonna validate that to see how accurate that was with actually see how it's gonna work. Yeah, maybe I don't know why they don't have a shield then. What would be the why'd they not put a shield in this? I'm looking at all these listings on Amazon and none of them have shields. This one? This one does. This one has a little yeah, this one does have a little shield in it. Maybe hmm. Okay. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, that makes sense. Not sure. Should I solder this up right now? Or I feel like I should just possibly do more testing, but okay, I see. Um, Kind of have a pickle right now. Should I solder this all up and run it, or should I do some more tests? I mean, a part of me does want to solder it up because the test that I did yesterday, everything was pretty accurate. There was a few data points that jumped maybe 3 to 4 psi higher than it should be, but um, doesn't need to be insanely accurate. I want to make it as accurate as possible, but I don't want to kill myself over how accurate this needs to actually be realistically. Um, the load cell I do like pretty accurate because that's going to be a really big it's very important for when I actually design the rocket, so I know exactly how the thrust curve is, and I'm going to design the rocket around it. Test it as is first. Okay, so let me see if I can. Oh, I took off the. Okay, let's do a thing. Let's see if I can. Okay, this will be interesting. So I'll actually we'll go through the testing that I did yesterday. It might look a little. Hmm. I'm wondering how I can portray this on the stream, or if I could. What time is it? Okay, I have 35 minutes, so it's possible. Let me get these testing wires on again, so I can plug it into the. I should get just little clamps or something easier, but the whole memo of what I'm doing right here is I gotta do it. I gotta do it with what I got, I guess. So I don't have a stand either. All right. All right. Get these on real quick. I could run you through the test. I can run you guys through the test that I was doing. You guys can point out any flaws. Oh boy, what just happened to the? I do also need to plug in my computer. Is the stream is frozen? That's better. There might be a little bit of rocking, but I am going to move the camera in a second down to the. Is the O-rings necessary? Yeah, the O-rings are 100% necessary. So I get my piping, my aluminum piping. This is actually for SN4. It's a brand new one. I get my piping off of Amazon, and it's for car intakes. That's what it's made for. So the tolerances aren't perfect. All the tubes run slightly smaller and slightly bigger. So they're actually this is SN2's nozzle. There's quite a amount of play in this in the actual tube, the casing in the nozzle, if that's what you're talking about. I may have misinterpreted the question. Um, let's get this plugged in. 5 volt ground. I definitely should. I know I have no electrical tape. I just ran out the other day. But let me just put a little something over either the ground or the so they don't touch. I know I'm a mess right now. I need to go restock on everything for the New Year's. I'm out on a lot of stuff. Okay, so here's my testing apparatus. So the one thing that is a little annoying, but I just wanted to build this cheap and quickly. The pressure transducer is doing absolute pressure, and this is gauge pressure. So you need to take away four. You got to add 14.7 onto this to figure out what this is. Um, it's definitely not the greatest setup, but it's not terrible. Let me get this SD card in here, and then How long I got? Okay, I got 30 minutes. I got a good 30 minutes. Let me bring this down to the air compressor, and I'll just run it at ambient pressure when it's the yeah, that's what I just did with the um with the 5 volt because I really didn't want to short them out because that would be terrible. That would not be great. Not be a fun thing. So, all right, trying to figure this out. Let me grab my power supply, which will actually just be the computer. The computer is low. I can get the compressor over here. This is an old compressor. It's not great, but it works for the application needed. Unplug the solder. Unplug the soldering iron. Oh, wrong one. Unplug the solder and get that in there. Got the air compressor. This is just a quick disconnect for a air compressor that goes into it. You pressure this fully out so it's at ambient pressure. So then the load cell should, or not the load cell, the thing. All right, thank you for watching. It will get fixed sometime. Might take a little bit more time as usual. It always is more time than expected, but that's how it works. So let me grab a little table to put my thing on. And I could run one test pressuring up to 50 psi and then cycling it down to 0. Can you please tell me? Could you explain that statement or question more? I don't think I'm fully understanding what you're asking. Okay, so let me cycle this real quick. Let's grab this. We're gonna take the camera down from there. We'll do this real quick. Hopefully, hopefully I did something wrong and you guys can just fix it. So sometimes I'm hoping for something wrong so it can be fixed. But now you're on a small tripod. Okay, so we got that right there. Just gonna set that right here for 1 second. And then this isn't the greatest setup because I gotta move everything closer. I had it all nicely set up on the other side of the room, but to do this live stream, I kind of need to shift it all around so it works out, so you guys can see it live. All right, so let's make sure all that stuff is good. Okay, all right, let's get this like that. Sorry for the. I'm definitely gonna pursue live streaming more. I'll definitely I'll get more better at it and everything. All right, so let me make sure the chamber's at 0. Now I'm writing the data to an SD card. I would like to eventually do it over the air, but right now the SD card's working. So let me share my screen for my Arduino software so you can look at the serial monitor to see. Okay. Now, not great with OBS, so let's um, add browser capture card, I think it is. It was not. Okay, now this is my whole screen, which is not what I'm looking for. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. So here, let me grab this. All right. Let me know if you can see the serial monitor. I'll pull it up more so it's easier to see. Let me know if it's you can't read the text or anything. I can make it larger, but we pull it over because the serial monitor won't pull up. So, okay, so here's the setup I have right here. This is connected to the and then coming down to the Arduino. That's just on a little box. This will actually be a good test because all yesterday I was testing it with the load cell also connected. Now the load cell is not connected. It's just the um, it's just the pressure transducer. Hold up for 1 second. All right, then where's my computer at? I gotta unplug my computer so I can bring it down here as well, so I can hook up the Arduino to it. A lot of steps here when I move the whole setup across the room. Okay, I'll give a backup shot like this of the whole apparatus. Then I gotta go to my room real quick to get an adapter. All right, I'm back with adapter for my Mac. I only got USB-Cs and my cord is a USB. So, okay, so let's make sure. 5 volt ground, A0. I'm probably gonna mute this because the air compressor is pretty loud and I don't want probably just make you deaf for the few days if you're listening with headphones in. Um, okay, so let's first do the ambient pressure. So it should be saying around, it should be displaying around 0.00. It will probably jump into the negatives because of this, whatever. And it's also not perfectly calibrated. So let me, hopefully you can see this. Okay, so the left is time, middle is load cell, which should be 000, which that's weird. That is weird. It's another issue. Why is the load cell showing to somewhere? The load cell's going up, even though there's no load cell plugged in. I never did that when the load cell was plugged in. Okay, this is interesting. There's always, there's always something. Always got to be something. So, all right, that is weird. That's probably something wrong with the code. But then that's weird because when the load cell is plugged in, the load cell column, which is the middle column, is perfectly fine. So maybe that's just because the load cell isn't plugged in. Um, yeah, these electronics is definitely. Oh, okay. All right. So then that's good. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that wasn't something that just happened overnight when I either was working perfectly fine. Okay, so getting back to where we are, the tank is at ambient pressure right now. Just make sure everything's out. I got one valve just nozzle to be able to drain the tank, and then I got the other one, which is the load cell apparatus. Um, so it's at 0 right now. You can see how it's reading -2, which means it's probably not calibrated perfectly. Um, which that is not terrible because I want to be within maybe say 5 to 10 psi of what the actual reading is. That'll be my tolerance. So maybe let's cycle this up to 50 psi and see what that says. I'm going to okay. So the data logger stopped recording because I have it set for every 3 minutes. That's how long it is for the test. I should change that just so it's forever, but it is what it is. Okay. Once I get this plugged back in and running, I'll cycle up the chamber to 50 psi. I'm gonna mute myself so it's not very loud. Going, I'm about to do that right now. All right, so I'm back. We're a little bit above 50 psi, but when this reads 50 psi, the sensor should be 14.7 above that because we're doing absolute on the sensor for the rocket. And I went to the store. This is the only one I could find, which is tank pressure. So I grabbed it. So right now, oh boy, what just happened to? I don't know why my signal keeps on dropping out and dropping in. Okay, what's this? So this is the apparatus, I like to call it, for the calibration of my pressure sensor. Pretty much it's connected up to an air compressor, which I can cycle to whatever PSI I want, up to 150 PSI. Comes out with this brass tubing up to a gauge, which this is calibrated, and then it goes out to my pressure sensor, which is right here. And this is how I'm going to calibrate it. So we can see when it's at 50 psi, realistically, it should be at 64.7. So it's a little bit above 50 right now. So we're at 50 psi right now. And of course, right when I get to 50 psi, the 3 minutes run out. I need to click it back and run it again. So can you guys see this? Okay, you guys cannot see the camera. That's great. So yeah, it should be at 64.7 psi right now. It's at 65. It's running 65. It's going real quick. 65, 64, 63. That's within a that's within a range that I'm comfortable with at for the rocket. I'm not trying to kill myself over how accurate this thing needs to be. I'm just trying to figure out the estimated pressure of the chamber of the rocket. So right now it's fine. This is the issue that I'm running into though. At 50 psi, it's reading Now, if people just join, this is doing absolute pressure. This is the gauge pressure. So this, when this reads 50 psi, this must read 14.7 higher than whatever this is. So when this is at 50 psi, this should be at 64.7, which is it's looking right about there, right about there. So now let's cycle down to 10 psi with when it should really, once I get to 10 psi on this gauge, it should be, okay, what's going on with the stream right now? Okay, so yeah, when I get to 10 psi in here, it should be 24.7. This is when the issue arises. So let's cycle down. I'll mute this for 1 second because I'm gonna need to blow this a lot. All right, I'm back. This is the issue that I'm looking at, that I'm running into. Now that it's at 10 psi, and it should really be, at 24.7 psi right now. And right now it's reading around 30. This could be an issue of whatever the interference we were talking about, or it could possibly just because this is a 300 or this is a 500 psi sensor, and it might just be a little less accurate down at 10 psi, which is very low compared to the 500 psi. Um, I'm going to cycle this one more time. I have 15 more minutes. I'm going to cycle this up to 100 psi now, and see how that reading looks. It should look pretty accurate. Um, because what I learned last night, I was working on this for a long time last night. Anything above 50 psi has it's pretty accurate, but anything below 50 psi, it's not too accurate. So let me mute myself. Let me run this program again so you guys can see the live output. And then I'm going to mute myself again because it's very loud. Let me recycle this chamber to 50 or 100 psi now. All right, welcome back. We are sitting at around, let me take this out. We're sitting at 100 psi right now. And the pressure transducer is looking very well. Now, remember, when we look at this gauge, it's at 100, but the pressure transducer should really be reading out 14 or 114.7, 14.7 higher than what this is. And when we look at the pressure transducer, it is well in the range. We're actually a little bit below 100 psi. We're probably at like 98 psi. And on the, we'll call it the visual gauge, and it's reading 1.9 to 112, which is acceptable in the range that I'm willing to accept for this test. Yeah, MMZ, I totally agree with you. It's probably because it's a 500 psi sensor, and once I get down to say 10 psi, that's very low compared to what the sensor should be reading, the total sensor. Yeah, so I just ran the program again. It's a little less, yeah. It's at like 96-ish psi right now, and it's reading out good numbers. So this is looking good. And also, when the motor's running, the motor won't be at under, except for startup, the motor won't be under 50 psi for most of its firing. It'll be way above that. So we really don't need to worry about the accuracy at the low pressure. I could always, if I really want to get, I could get a, if I want to get really technical, I could get lower, a lower, use two pressure sensors, a lower PSI pressure sensor and a higher one. So then we can get the ranges, make the ranges overlap perfectly on which accurate, and then combine the data to figure out a perfectly um, perfect thing. But I mean, like I was saying, this pressure isn't the most important data point that I'm looking for this next test. The load cell I do like to keep accurate within 1 to 3 newtons. Um, so well, this is looking good. We're at stable. This does leak. This is old, so it does leak quite a bit. But yeah, so it should be fine. Um, what we were talking about earlier with putting the load cell and the pressure transducer on the same 5-volt pad, I think that's going to be fine. I really do think that's going to be fine because if I'm going to run more tests, because right now we don't have the load cell connected. But if the load cell is connected and it's reading the same data points, then I would like to assume that it's looking good for the test. But I would hate for somehow the signal or something to drop or the overload while we're testing and then I'm not able to get data. That's what happened. There's some issues with the data retrieval on SN1's first test, and that's not fun because but it's looking good. We'll cycle down to 50 psi again. We just tested it and it looked great, but we'll cycle down to 50 psi once again just to test it one more time. And once at 50 psi, it should really be at 64.7 psi. So let me mute this real quick so it's not really loud, and let me cycle down to 50 psi, and we'll see how that's doing. All right, now we're back at 50 psi, and it should be reading 64. And it's actually, sorry if that was loud. Um, yeah, so right now it's very accurate. It's at 65, I see 63, 66, which is in the acceptable range that I'm willing to take. I mean, I could get this perfectly calibrated, but I'd rather spend my time somewhere else on the rocket rather than calibrating this perfectly. So yeah, it's looking good. Numbers are checking out. I guess the main part of this live stream that I was planning on was to solder this and get this all set up, but I guess we didn't get there. Let me know, comment down below. I need to leave in an hour-ish, a little less than an hour. I'm going to the golfing range. Would you like me to pick up this live stream back a little later at maybe say 6 or 7 p.m. EST? If you'd like me to, I could. Um, I'm actually going to mute myself, cycle this down to 0 psi, and then I'm going to actually start soldering right now. All right, so this is cycled down. Let me take this out. Let me unclip it. All right, so I guess everything's looking good. Yesterday I did test with the load cell as well. If you're new on the stream right now. Right now we're working on soldering up my new data logging system. It's not new, but I'm adding a pressure sensor to it so I can record the pressures in the combustion chamber of my rocket of SN4 and its first test, which should be first test I'm shooting for late January. So I have quite a rush to get most of this stuff done, but a little rush isn't always terrible. Let me get you guys back up on the overhead camera. And then I think we're going to do that. What we've troubleshooted and we've tried to figure out and work on. I think it'll work out fine if I put the two clamp connector, so I'm able to connect, and then the 5 volt will share between both. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is pain. Trying to screw back up this mount on the overhead camera. I really need to get a better. I really do need to get a better system here, but it's not, as of right now, it's not entirely on top of my to-do list. Okay. All right, it's gonna be a little shaky. Now I got this cord from my computer across it because my computer's about to die. My live streaming setup is definitely not the greatest, guys. So, um, yeah, if you have any suggestions, a rush, you must have no free time. I do have quite a bit of free time. I'm in college, if you don't know. I'm studying aerospace engineering. I'm on spring break right now. I go back to school at around I think the 23rd of January. So I got till the 23rd. I want to test this before I go back to school. I am going to South Texas, South Padre Island, to watch the upcoming Starship flight. If it, as of right now, how it's looking, it's not going to go. But I'm leaving the 9th through the 15th. I'll be gone. So that only gives me a few days before the test, before I leave for the South Texas, and that only gives me like a week and a half once I get back. And everything's looking good. I'm gonna be actually working a little bit in South Texas on all this stuff, the software side and all the organization. The parts are gonna be tested within, or the parts are gonna be ordered within the next few days. Um, so it's kind of I mean, I got plenty of time, but I got stuff going on during that time. So I got time, but I don't. This was going, if I was in school right now, it'd take way longer. But this is what I'm really taking this when I'm off from school to really catch up with most of the stuff that I'm behind in for all this rocket stuff. This is pretty much all I do. I do some other stuff in my free time, but this is pretty much all, most of it. Okay, so let's get soldering iron. Let's get these goofy connectors off. Get the close view. If you prefer a different view, let me know. I can switch it. I just think the close might be the best because you can really see what I'm working on. Who votes that I just don't go golf and we just sit on here all day and work on stuff? That would be an option. I'd do that. I don't have a problem with that. Okay. So now we're back to where we started. we're back to where we started, but we gained some knowledge. That's good. Um, Physically, we're back where we started, but overall, we're not. Okay, so we're gonna move this pin, this pad, these two over to the right, so it's butted up right next to this one, and we're gonna move that over. Okay, all right. So let me actually, just for my sake, come on, focus. I'm just trying to take a screenshot in the stream because I like to, just in case, before I start unsoldering stuff, I always like just to take a picture, just in case I unsolder something that's not supposed to, because I could figure it out, but I don't remember where all these leads exactly go, and I could figure it out, but why not waste time and look at a picture and figure out exactly where it's supposed to go. So, okay, we're looking good there. Now that this, me, sorry, these two are butted up as much as it can go to the right. So we're gonna move this one more to the right. I gotta first remove it, which that, you see that little solder just came off. That may be the tough part. So we grab my little clamps, oh no, oh boy, where did those go? I'm definitely not set up to what I should be doing. Okay. All right. The wires are off. That's all. Get some wick. I've been told I don't have the proper thing to be able to do this. This is going to be a pain, but we'll figure it out. I saw someone on YouTube do it this way, so we'll try it this way. If it doesn't work, then I guess we tried. Okay. I actually am out of flux, um, which sucks. I know. I don't know how this works. I don't know how this happens. But now, pretty much, you heat up both these pads. That one's loose. Oh, there we go. Perfect. That could not have went better. Okay, it's out. Let me clean up. See, there's still some solder over those holes. Those three. That'll. Okay. All right. Let me soak up the solder in those three holes. If you guys have any questions as well about SN4 or anything, let me know. I'm willing to, like a discussion room, kind of. I'm just working. You guys can help out, which it has helped out a lot with so far, or talk about whatever. All right. This, let's clean up this board. All right. It's looking great. It's looking brand new. Now, can reuse this one. These screws. See, I got some. Now, I never use flux because my side already has the flux in it. Should I be? I mean, I can get some pretty nice attachments without flux because this automatically has flux in it. I don't know. I don't know. Let me just grab a new clamp. That old clamp also had a little bit of one of the screws were a little stripped, which I don't know how it really shouldn't, but hmm, I see. Um, okay, this is a pain. I might need to modify this. Oh, what just happened? It's probably against code of what I'm doing right now, but it works. All right, so boom. Oh man, I don't. This is scary. This is interesting. Oh, we can't even fit. Oh, that sucks. Hmm. Yeah, those puffs of smoke. I try not to sniff it in. It's probably not great for you. Okay, we're gonna rethink this. I should just get a bigger shield or something where I could fit. I could always go back here, but those are on my Arduino. Um, okay, I need to go in 8 minutes, so let's get as much done as possible. 7 people still watching me mess up everything. No. Okay. Um, hmm. Now let me show you guys the issue of what's happening right now. Once these two, this is what I thought was going to happen, but once these two are in, there's not enough room to do another pin right there. I could, because I kind of assumed what was going to happen, but I was thinking maybe I could use one of these, which does actually, because these little clamps, the plastic housing covers some of the other pin pads. So yeah, I definitely need that smaller block because these blocks are a bit bulky. And then they, oh, we got this. There's a little bit of tension involved with this, but oh man. I mean, it works. They're all in there. We got, oh no, it's actually one less. Or yeah, so we got this will work. We got the two for the load cell, four for the load cell, then we got the one. No, because we got four. No, this is only five. I need six. Hmm. I just don't have enough room. I wish I had like another shield or a extension board or something. I can make it work. Just gonna need to rearrange because this I built this for obviously not this. So um, there's a little bit of a conflict involved. I'm adding more to a board that cannot fit no more. I might just need to go with what I did for these. This will fit. I mean, it's a little janky, but it works. Just got all these wired under, going to the correct pad. I can actually, these are always so scary to pull apart. You don't want to bend any of the pins. You need to do it all evenly. So I actually bend a few. I always bend a few. But so here's this part. This is for the OLED screen. That's the load cell attach point right there. So pretty much the OLED screen plugged into here, that wire that I built, that homemade wire. I didn't feel like going to buy one. And then under you can see I ran all the pins to those pins, which then I connected this little this is actually from what just happened? This is from a 6S LiPo battery for my FPV drones. It's definitely not, yeah, but that took, it's so simple. It's not even that crazy, but that took me a long time to work. I plan where each cord was going. Um, yeah, let me just send out a quick test. Okay, this is more of like a, because I really would not. I really wouldn't love to rewire all this. I mean, I could. It's not what I'm planning on. Um, well, what if we squeeze the other load cell one? We could actually use a four prong. I have these four prongs. I don't know why I didn't use this to start. I don't know why I didn't use the four prong to start, but I guess I didn't. They're right here. I actually think I didn't use this four prong because I was scared that if I placed it in the wrong area, it would be very hard to take it up and pull it out. But I think we're gonna do that. We're gonna switch over to that four prong. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. And I guess let me just take up all these for a second. Let me take out this other one. Let's just start off with a clean board. Take everything. Well, just take off these, whatever these are called. If anyone in the chat knows what these are called, I don't know what I don't know what these little screw terminals are called. Like screw terminal. Um, I'm not 100% sure what they call them. I call them like screw terminals or something, but it could be wrong. All right, let's get this pad all soaked up. Okay. Terminal block. Okay. Terminal block. Yeah. So I'm gonna add a four connection terminal block. Oh boy, if I can get this one off. All right, let's wait for it to cool down for a second so I can grab with my fingers. Got quite a mess, but yeah. So I guess I'll place down this four output terminal block to, and then we'll do what I did for the OLED screen. Guess that will work. It'll work. I mean, it'll work at least for the next test, and I will upgrade. I want to be using that Arduino Duo, so um, once I upgraded that, I got plenty of room to put multiple terminal blocks for everything. Okay. Come on. Oh, it's almost there. It got hot. I need some type of pliers, but I'm not gonna go grab them. I should though. What? Almost there. There we go. Out. It's all out. Let me zoom you guys in. Here's my solder wick. Just clean up these. At least we got a clean slate to work with now. All that solder, so these holes open up so I can put those terminal blocks through it. All right, this is what we're looking at right now. It's better if I do the far camera and hold it up there. We got all the terminal blocks taken out. Got the leads hanging. Now at least we got a clean slate to work with. Also, if you haven't liked this stream yet, if you could, that'd be great. Helps the algorithm push this out to more people. Helps my channel grow even faster. Right as I said that, the viewers dropped by 3. Okay. Let's clean up the workspace a little bit. All right. So we got this 4 terminal block, which I was thinking about putting right here. We put that right there. What is the green PCB? That I don't fully remember. Actually, the load cell, I got this design off of dude on YouTube. That was to convert. Oh yeah, it is the load cell amplifier. Yeah, you're correct. And I need to run a capacitor or a resistor through it. Yeah, so it is quite big. If it wasn't right here, I would have had plenty of room. That's really taken up most of it. But yeah, that's the load cell amplifier. I had a brain fart right there. Um, Actual wires. Oh my. Okay, so let's figure out what's going on with this one. I don't know what's going on with the live stream. I don't know why it's dropping out like that. The camera feed. The live stream's fine. Live stream's working fine. You guys can hear me good, I hope. Um, One of these pens got a little bad. Just grab another one. That one still has a little bit of solder inside of it. Can't get that pin through real quick. What was that beep noise? Sort of beep. I heard it again. Okay. All right, that should be cleared out. I think that was the issue. I'm trying to slide this pin down. What is this? I hear some beeping. Um, what is this? Do you guys hear that beeping? Is it just me? What do you say? Can you leave one of the two pins of the 4-pin prong hanging off the board to the edge? Are you talking about like hanging off something like that? This, how the geometry of this board works, there's a little bit of a taper to it, so I'm not. That's actually pretty smart. If let's see, no, we're unable to. It's the geometry of the board. Um, that would have helped out. That would have solved the problem. But yeah, let me grab this real quick. It need to be angled, but if I can get this one right here. What was that beeping? Do you guys hear that beeping? Or is that? Cottage tremble. Um, I don't, but I know where you're going. That would, that actually, this right here. Okay, if this stops, I don't know why it keeps on dying out. This would work right here. One pin off, this pin goes through there, that pin goes through there. Or yeah, the turn it 90 degrees. You could do that. Holy. I'm wow, I'm the only one. I hear this beeping. It's really getting to me. Okay, let me grab. Now, also one of the issues is, what is it called? Not. I don't know what those on the Arduino. There's 3 pins that are all next to each other. The 6 pins. What is it called? It's somewhere. I need to. The ICSP. The ICSP. Let me get over here. Is pins are right here. Those 6 pins right there, and that's messing me up because when I try to put the terminal on there, the pin is too big, so I just need to cut the pin terminal down a little bit. I think it should be fine because there's not too much current running through it. I think if I can pinch down that a little bit. Okay, so this one, first one will be hanging off the board. It's not, it's a little bent because it can't be perfectly straight on how the board is, but the model for the stream is if it works, it works. Okay. I need to cut down this one pin to make it a little thinner. So hopefully. Okay. All right. That fits in there. We got two in, we just need one more. This one more should be smooth. Actually, okay. We can put a little gap in between. That looks pretty good. I mean, actually really doesn't look too good, but it works. Okay, let me get you a close up. These are falling out now. Yeah, and then we got enough pins for everything. The both 5 volts for the load cell and the pressure transducer will be to the same pin, which should work fine with the testing I did yesterday. Oh, this is beeping. There's this periodic beeping. Okay, how did everyone feel about this before I start soldering it up? It works, hopefully. Looks like it'll work. All the pins have a orientation. The m- rightmost pin does hang off, but that's totally fine. Workout. Okay, all right. So looks good. It's beeping. All right, guess we're gonna go for it then. Looking good. All right, got the 2 in. We'll do the third one. Make sure it's nice and perpendicular, so it'll look as good as it can, even though I don't even know how good it could look. All right, this is where we got them all to fit in. Solder joints don't look terrible. That one's hanging off right there, but that will be just fine for the application. Okay, all right. Make sure these work. Okay, all right. All right. Let me just check. All right. Looking good. Now, we can move on and start soldering these load cells leads back to where they should go, which those two are going to the load cell amplifier. I will be back in 1 second. I'll be 30 seconds. All right, I'm back. I'm trying to find these little type pliers, sorta. It's hard for my fingers to grab these little wires and be able to orientate them perfectly. I don't know where it went. Probably be the mess down here. Okay, all right. So let's get back to work. Oh, it's gonna go to this right here. Boom. Boom. This one there. I'm just gonna go there. I probably should have checked. I'm 99% sure this is where these go. I should have checked, but we're gonna check after I solder them. That's how we do it here. E plus, that's the 5 volt, E minus, ground, and then the A minus, and the A plus. Okay, looks good. So let's just get where the E plus is the topmost. Okay, all right. Now you got to get some jumpers, the pads. Oh, this is gonna be okay. I get some jumpers to the pad so I can jump to the pad to the terminal block. There's some solder from here when I was trying to do something on it. Remove this solder real quick. All right. So I was using A0. There's no labels on the. There actually is labels on the shield, so I don't need to look back at the Arduino. So I was using A0 in the ground. Okay. All right. Looking good. We'll run another. Oh, I don't like needing to. I don't like using the 5 volt for both. But if anyone's joining right now, I am soldering up my data logger, as I like to call it. Which for the other tests, it only did the load cell, but now we're adding another terminal block to support my pressure sensor, which is right here. It's still on the testing apparatus. It's right there. So once I take that off, this will be hooked up into the rocket motor. It's going to be drilled through the bulkhead. So this will give us some data on the pressure inside the chamber. It's yeah, it will probably get ruined after the first test, but it was $15 because usually most of the slag from the end of the combustion falls to the bottom because of how the rocket's placed straight up. It falls to the bottom. Load cell will be in the bottom, or the pressure sensor will be at the bottom. Load cell will be at the bottom, but it'll probably get ruined, but it'll give some good data throughout the test. All right. So now I gotta figure out. I always take a long time because I like to have everything wired out nicely. It might not look too nice, but I don't know. It looks nice to me. All right. That messed up again. I don't know why it does that. Also, if you have any questions about anything, let me know. The stream is frozen right now. Let me fix that real quick. But if you have any questions about SN3, SN1, SN2, SN3, and SN4, because that I can say that now because that's in production right now. What we're working on this for now. Okay. Now you get this up right here. All right. That's looking good. Oh, thinking about it, I can use the same ground as the load cell as well, right? I mean, I have multiple grounds on this board. I don't need to, but realistically, I could just to save me some time with needing to find another trace and putting it to one of these. I could use the, right? So then I would just need, thinking about it, I could, right? Because so then I just need to wire the analog 0 to one of these, and then I just hook up to the same ground and 5 volt. If anyone wants to verify that, I think, right, that would work. I don't know why it wouldn't. Um, so we'll go with that. Grab some blue wire, cut this, strip it. Okay, all right. I gotta go. I'm gonna go golfing. So I might resume this later. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. If you guys could look, please subscribe, comment, and like. That'd be great. And I appreciate all the support.